update everyone on what's happening in the marketplace. Now, this is a latest report from IDC this year, I think back in about 2 months ago, and obviously COVID-19 has accelerated digital transformation beyond anyone's imagination. So, and this is really the bottom line, right? Digital infrastructures is really becomes one of the mission critical components, and you gotta have it, right? So all the other stuff as well, digital transformation becomes a top priority. Now here's an interesting information here, like some of these technologies that companies wish they have deployed before the crisis, right? Like the collaboration tools, right? So our platform is one of the core we call collaboration tools, and for most companies that you can do virtual expo, virtual training, and virtual job fair. And obviously cloud-based application as well. So all these I can go on forever, right? But this is really the key. Now, just kind of give you a brief summary of leading market analysts in this virtual event marketplace. So I have been honored to have a good interview with the senior market analyst at that market research, and they basically confirm that all these are happening in an explosive way. Interactive events is one thing that is happening right now. I mean, you got obviously Zoom and many other video conferencing doing like a 1 to 2 hours events, and maybe piggyback with some media pages and so forth. The one that actually they call virtual hub is quite similar to the virtual collaborative network or private expo network that we have. One thing is clear to them is that our private network can help promote other events. We call the Netflix model for trade show and conferences. So the key takeaway is that the virtual collaborative network is the next killer apps. I will go through next couple of slides and what that means to you as a company and how you should prepare for it. So this is another market research reports basically shows that 82% of companies are adopting hybrid model, which is basically both in-person and virtual. And then over about 17% or almost 20% are going 100% virtual as well. And obviously, some of the companies are in the global geographic regions. Definitely virtual would be a no-brainer solution. Now, let me just take it back on the original problem or premise that we are trying to solve here, or everyone is trying to solve here. I mean, obviously, you got the traditional model, which is the in-person. Now they're moving away from the traditional and add on the virtual component with the the hybrid model. And you're still facing the similar challenges, is that still lacking the return on investments, and there's no ongoing collaboration or engagement with all the stakeholders, and they're still facing, we call the disconnected silo effect. This is how we are uniquely positioned in the marketplace. Like I mentioned earlier in many presentation, that Easy Expo is the only virtual event platform that actually help company to build out your virtual business network ecosystem that will ultimately help you to build your network effects boost your SEO, and also provide the network effect, ultimately create increased search engine optimization and help you save more money in terms of less money expenses on online advertising, recruiting, and training. So how do we do that? Our basic model is really about providing an ongoing collaboration network ecosystem. Now, so we really feel that the whole event economy needs a new platform strategy. The left side is the old model, which is the one-off effect events. The new model that we are helping or promoting or educating many of our customers is the ongoing network, just like the Netflix model for trade show and conferences. By doing that, you are accumulating, we call the event equity accumulator, right, or accumulations. So that changes everything, because now the one-off transaction becomes a subscription model, and the marketing mentality that you used to have one-time campaign becomes a customer lifetime value, and all the rest becomes a recurring or repeatable activities and events that ultimately to help you to generate, we call the accumulator or the event equity accumulator index. And one note I want to point out here is that this the last piece is that this right here, the culture factor, is a big one. Ultimately, you're going to have a more collaborative mindset to help you to build out multiple networks, multiple stakeholders. So the big question is, how do you unlock the power of, we call the virtual network equity accumulator or accumulations? All the pieces that you do every day, or many companies are already doing every day, but the big problem that they have is that they are not accumulating those events or those sessions. Once it's done, it's off, right? That's what on one-off events. All the events that they've been doing or you've been doing, whether it's Zoom meeting or virtual conference or virtual expo, you are not accumulating all these key components, whether it's a content or traffic and so forth. Once it's done, it's gone. Maybe only going to be lasting for a couple of months. You're not going to sustain it because you don't have the virtual private expo network has a backbone to back it up. So what we are saying is that, in other words, is that by unlocking the power of virtual network equity accumulators, you really have to build out your virtual private expo networks. Start with one first, and then you can build on second and third. Ultimately, you are building the content for each one, the traffic and leads, and then ultimately your SEO, search engine optimization, and the network effects. And this is really the key. We're not talking about just real-time events like the Zoom meeting or webinar. We're also including any sessions that is on demand as well. So this is really about accumulating everything that you do on the network. Now, the more you do that, you're going to increase your ultimate factor, exponentially. And that's really the key. This is really the big picture. So how do we do that? Our solution is that we provide, we call the private expo network, similar to this, that this is like the Netflix model for trade show and conferences, so that you can create one virtual expo, and then you can have 2 and 3. This can be an expo, it could be a training, it could be a job fair, and then you can replicate that model for other local chapters, or other, if this is a Fortune 5,000, you can actually replicate that for other divisions and so forth. By doing that, you are creating a virtual network ecosystem to take away all the frictions across multiple organizations.